welcome back to a new video by the Hold Heroes, and today we're having a look at our own climbing wall. This is the kids' room, as you can see, and for any parents watching, I know I'm not fooling anybody. This is not how it looks like on a day-to-day basis, because obviously then this is one giant pile of exploded kid stuff. But I cleaned up for you today so you can have a look at the climbing wall that we have in the kids' room. Now you can see the 8 over there. That is actually part of the story of the origin of this wall. My oldest is currently 9.5 almost, and I gave this wall for his 8th birthday because he got into climbing, and that was on the tail end of the pandemic with all the lockdowns. With the climbing gym being closed, I said, you know what, you're so into this, let's build our own wall. So here it is. It's about 5 meters across, about 3 meters high, all the way to the ceiling. And for the engineers amongst us, I put an anchor here on the ceiling. That's the beam I drilled into the ceiling and bolted into the ceiling. And behind this, I have beams going from the beam in the ceiling all the way down to where the wall meets the floor. So it's sort of wedged in between the ceiling anchor and the wall, so the beams can't move. And then obviously I got beams like this along the whole length of the wall. And then on the wall itself, you can see here where it joins. You can also see that it's by no means, perfect. Just plywood, 18 millimeter thick plywood. And you can see in places that it's starting to slightly peel. It's not the highest quality plywood. I mean, you can go as high as you want, obviously, in terms of quality. But this was still affordable and still served our needs really well. And then actually I got a few down here. I just put these in, I drilled some holes, put these in the back, and they sort of lock themselves with these teeth inside the plywood. And then you can just screw bolts into this and then have your holes that way. So that's a pretty simple principle. And as you can see, actually we've put an attachment on, because that's one of the benefits to have your own wall, is that you can do whatever the hell you want with it. So that makes it super flexible. We can put anything on and off the wall. You can even see some holes here where we made some mistakes. So we decided to just, cut it all out, sandpaper it a little bit, and then we have an alternative grip that way. So that is the essence of the wall. You can do whatever you want with this. And then you get things, you get things like this. I can just bolt this to the wall if I feel like it. And then I have another grip. That's what we did here with this. You can see it's just 2 beams with a plank, sanded down and made smooth so you don't get any splinters. Put some bolts in it, and you're good to go. So that's really cool. We can do whatever we want with this. And it is actually, because this is all just simple plywood, it is also very modular. You can maybe see that these panels, they're screwed in. So you can see the screws here. So at some point these panels will be used up. Too many holes, too many bolts, too many mistakes. And then I can just take one panel off, saw a new panel, and put that back on. So that makes it super modular. Now you're obviously wondering, is this very practical to have in your kids' room? And the answer is yes, in a way. The kids' room, as you can see, it's big enough. It's about 25 square meters, 250 square feet. And there's plenty of space in here to move around. And in general, they only sleep here, really. So they don't play here that much. But to make things a bit more flexible, I put the beds on wheels. So as you can see, this is, not a lot of space to do any climbing, especially when it goes up. You can, oh, by the way, I forgot to say, this is a 15%, give or take, incline for the climbing wall. You can see here, if I put it flush against the climbing wall, that's the angle compared to the floor. And this is a straight angle. But anyway, so you can see that there's not much space here. So obviously, when you put the beds on wheels, you can just move the bed, and then there is space. Plenty of space to climb. And then, you can also move the beds around when you want a slightly different room configuration. For protection, instead of buying 400 euro crash pads, we're just using these mats from IKEA. Because, it is not that crazy high. So, there's no real falling going on in here. But if we're doing any difficult problems, like here, for example, when you're, starting close to the ground, then, those mats are more than sufficient. Now you might be wondering if this holds me. I'm about 90 kilos, 200 something pounds. and I'm about 183 tall. So obviously, you know, I can reach the higher grips, but that's not the point. Weight-wise, it holds two adults without any issues. I've made sure to use solid beams on the back, especially for support, and everything is sort of over-engineered, if you want to call it that way. So, you know, it fits me to climb, it holds me, no problem. And since I'm by far the heaviest here in our household, and by far the heaviest one to use this as well, it is no issue whatsoever. Now, in terms of costs, obviously wood is expensive these days, and there is quite a lot of you know, additional material that you never really think of. Some screws, some bolts. Obviously, you need concrete drills to drill into the ceiling, all that jazz. So I think together in raw material, it was about €1,000, maybe a bit more, 1,100, for just the wood, the beams, and everything else to get it done. And then on top of that, obviously you have the climbing grips with their attachment material and everything else. Because the grips that we use are just grips like this that you can buy, you know, in any online climbing shop. So, you know, so we don't always order with the bolts and with the extra attachment material because we have plenty of that by now. But yeah, all that comes on top of that. And obviously everything else that you want to do with the wall comes on top of those initial costs. But because, you know, the wall is set up now and the solid frame is what it is. So I'd say about, yeah, 1,100–1,200 euros to get this done. And it's about a 3–4 day process, depending on how much you do by yourself, to get it all set up. So I don't have any video actually from me building the wall, but I'll put a few pictures up here so you can see roughly how that process looked like. And overall, it is now super nice, especially now that we're all climbing, to have this in our own house. So we don't always have to go to a gym to film like a shoe review, for example, which I'm doing today. You can just do it here on your own wall, which is actually super nice. It's super flexible and also quite cool to have this in your own house. And obviously every friend that comes to play with the boys wants to have a go, which is always a lot of fun too. So there you have it. That is our own climbing wall here in the kids' room. Super nice and convenient to film videos, but also super cool for the kids to do their training, and now actually for me and my wife to do the training as well. Because, you know, you're not always able to go to the climbing gym. Maybe you only have half an hour left or something, but then you can still get some stuff done, get some training done here. And it's even, you know, when you have difficult problems in the gym, you can put the crux of the problem here and then just figure it out that way. And of course, it's not a one-on-one copy, but it is quite the alternative to, you know, just fingerboarding, for example. That's all I got for you in this video today. A little look at our kids' room and our own personal climbing wall. I'll be filming a lot of videos here, so you're definitely going to see this again. If you want to see me do something specific with this wall, maybe put a specific grip pattern on or do something, whatever tickles your fantasy, do put it in the comments. You know, like I said, it's our own wall. We can do whatever we want with it. So any suggestions for cool projects are obviously welcome. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!